Why is it so incredibly painful when a relationship unexpectedly ends? A clue can be found in the book Metaphors We Live by George Lakoff, a student of Noam Chomsky. In this book, he describes that when we use intangible nouns in a sentence, when we think about intangible nouns, we use them as if they were tangible nouns. And we can tell the kind of tangible nouns they are by the preposition we use before the intangible noun. For example, think of the word meeting. A meeting is a noun, but it is an intangible noun because meetings don't exist. They are a shared hallucination. The meeting room exists. The tables exist. The chairs exist. The people exist. But the meeting itself is a shared hallucination. So when we use this intangible noun, we use the word in, the preposition in before the meeting. I'm in a meeting, which indicates we think of a meeting as if it were some kind of a container. It uses the container metaphor. I'm in a meeting. I'm in the room. I'm in the container. I'm in the box. What about a conversation? If you were to describe a conversation in accurate scientific terms, it would be incredibly difficult. You'd have to describe all the brain processes that lead to thoughts, and the thoughts that lead to the words, and the words that create the brain processes in the other person, and then those thoughts, and the secondary thoughts, and how those thoughts get turned into words that come back and repeats this process. A conversation is a very, very complex, organically evolving system. But we use it as if it were a container also. I'm in a conversation. But we also use the possessive object metaphor. I'm having a conversation. I have a conversation. We had a conversation. Something that we have, it's an object. But we also implicitly understand that a conversation requires two people to voluntarily participate in the conversation. If you were picked up by the cops and dragged down to the police station and interrogated, you probably wouldn't think of that as a conversation because it's not voluntary. So a conversation is a very, very complex thing, but we think of it in shorthand thinking terms by thinking of it as if it were a container and an object and something that requires the voluntary participation of both parties. The same goes with a relationship. I'm in a relationship. So some aspect of a relationship is the container metaphor, but we also have a relationship. I have a girlfriend. I have a wife. I have a husband. I have a boyfriend. But it also implicitly requires the continuous voluntary participation of both parties. The problem comes when we start to fall into set and forget mode and we use only the possessive object metaphor. I have a relationship. Because if we have something and that thing goes away, that kicks off the most powerful psychological motivating factor ever studied. And that is to get something back that we used to have that has now been lost. Nothing motivates humans more than going to get something back that we used to have that is lost somehow. In fact, this is a very clever political trick that politicians use. They could say, vote for me and I'll give you free X. But that sounds a little suspicious, so they don't say that. They say, vote for me and I will protect your right to X. This makes it sound a little bit more complex. But when they say protect our right to X, it does a couple of things. One, it makes it seem like we already have X. We have a right to X, therefore it's our property. But if they say protect our right, vote for me and I'll protect your right to X, that sounds like it might be taken away. And once we believe we have something and that thing might be taken away, that will motivate us more than anything else. So if you have a relationship, or if you think you have a relationship, if you have a girlfriend, if you have a boyfriend, and suddenly, poof, it ends, that will trigger that same psychological motivating factor that will motivate you to get that thing back. And so that is why a broken relationship that ends unexpectedly is so difficult to get over. Because it triggers that psychological factor. How do you pre-frame this so it doesn't happen? How do you avoid this? Well, the first step is to not think in terms of having a relationship. Don't allow yourself to fall into set and forget mode and think you have a relationship. Now you don't have to do anything except just enjoy the relationship. Instead, think more in terms of the container metaphor. You're in a relationship, and always remind yourself that a relationship can only last so long as both parties participate in the relationship. And because you can't control the behavior of another person, the relationship can always end. This will invoke the law of scarcity. And the law of scarcity makes us see things much more valuable. So if you continuously remind yourself that you are in a relationship and this organically evolving thing can end at any time because it requires the voluntary participation of both people, that will invoke the law of scarcity. You will see the relationship as being much more valuable, and you'll be much more motivated to take care of the relationship, to maintain the relationship, and not ever slip into set and forget mode. And realize that everybody can do anything they want to for whatever reason they want to. You can't predict the behavior of other people. You can't control the behavior of other people. And remind yourself every single day that you are in a relationship. You are in a good relationship, and this relationship requires the continuous participation of both people. And that will motivate you to maintain the integrity of this relationship and communicate to make sure both people are participating in the maintenance of this relationship. Just like a beautiful garden. You wouldn't plant a bunch of rose seeds and expect it to be set and forget. You would recognize that you would need to take care of this garden, just like you should take care of your relationship. So don't let your mind slip into the possessive object metaphor. Instead, keep your mind in the container metaphor as well as the voluntary participation metaphor. And that will keep your relationship healthy, and it will keep it from ending, and it will make you value the relationship more. So try this out, think about this, let me know what you think in the comments. If you'd like to learn more about how to create and maintain a healthy relationship, check out the links below. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.